looking forward to that event you're having with Tucker on September 23rd and Alex Jones. I've been watching a bunch of Tucker events. They're actually fantastic. They're real. They're very impromptu. The audience seems to really love it, and they're a real hit. And so I love what he's doing. I love how it's a different guest in every city, and they just feel just fresh and organic and real.
They really
Again,
are. I've gone
yeah,
through and listened to, because he was releasing them as podcasts afterwards, that
yeah.
none of them are quite the same, and you always get a different audience interaction, or he's riffing on something different that night. And it's what it's showing though. And the fact that he's got sellout crowds all across the country, from, I believe he was in Oklahoma recently. He's going to Kansas now. I'll be with him in Pennsylvania. He was in Arizona for the kickoff. That it's showing that there is a massive, massive audience out there for independent media. People are sick of the corporate content. People are sick of the talking head on a screen telling you whatever the corporate censors want you to hear. And they are starved for real conversation, and they're starved for authenticity. And that's something where, and I think in the move that in a sense, Tucker's progression from being part of that corporate world for 30 plus years and now moving to an independent voice, it's freed him up, but it's also taken a lot of the shackles off of him, so that he really can speak his mind now, can tell you what it was really like was within the corporate machine, the pressures, the censorship, the firing of staff, and constant. He obviously was fired many times, and he talks about that on stage. That's very funny when he talks about it, and it gives you a sense of, just giving people a sense of realizing that, you know what, when you're watching one of those shows, when you're watching one of those outlets, they don't exist to inform you. They exist to misinform you. And you have to understand something I said when I was on Tucker, and I'll put it out again. The point of a system is what it does. And you sit there and say, it's Gell-Mann amnesia is an example of this. You say, why is it that the media gets story after story wrong? And Gell-Mann amnesia is that Michael Crichton thing, when, I'm sure you're familiar with it, when you come across a story that you have direct knowledge of, that you have personal subject matter expertise on. So like when I was in the military, my main focus was China. I lived in China for 2 years, and prior to joining the military. And, when I hear about China, whenever I hear the media, I say, wait a minute, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But then people have a tendency to go to the next story and believe everything that they say, instead of realizing, wait a minute, if you knew that story was wrong, then shouldn't you also believe this story is wrong? And that's where the amnesia comes in. The point of a system is what it does. Does the media exist to inform us, or perhaps does it exist to misinform us? And again, when we look at President Trump's security on J13, were these security failures only if your perspective is that the point of that security was there to make him secure? Or perhaps there was a different goal, to unsecure him from that event. And we walk through this as well. We even use AI. We plugged all the different security failures into AI and chat. We use GPT-4 Omni, which is the OpenAI's latest proprietary piece, and charted the odds of the probability of 12 independent. We identified 12 independent security failures, and we said, what are the odds of this happening on the same day that a gunman with malicious intent would arrive at the rally? And the odds that spat back at us were 1 in 1 septillion. And it said that, and GPT-4 Omni, again, it's not us, this was the AI coming back to us, said there was a greater likelihood that these events did not happen by chance.
Wow. Yeah, I saw that in the book, and that's fantastic that you plugged that in there. And I know what you mean about the media. It's interesting. When I ran to be mayor in London, when I saw these big, massive publications like the Times and the Guardian, just like lying about who I was, and it was the first time I realized that was happening on such a massive scale by the biggest institutions. And that's when I started to distrust kind of all media. But like you said, there's still that weird bias where you see the one thing you know about, and then you go back to believing back to that. Robert Malone talks about that with his 5th generation psychological warfare, that you think you're not in it, but you are in it. And that's the thing. Like, if you think you're above it, you're not, because it's happening to all of us, because it works on our amygdalas. And so even if you can see it, it's still happening to you. And so you have to, first of all, know it's happening. But even if you know it, you still have to find a way to try to inoculate, yourself from it. I love Tucker's event in California. I forgot that he grew up in Southern California. I did too. And by the way, it was a packed event. And he was speaking super frankly about the problems of California. He was commending all the people that decided to stay in that state. And it was just really refreshing to see that happen and to see so many people that want to come out, because we always hear California doesn't care about these things, but they clearly do.
Well,
And
there's a big question about that. It's, sort of a question of do you make a stand and try to fight, or do you sort of recess and do you run away and look, what I've said I've actually used the news of this week to kind of bring that up and say, well, just don't stay in a fight, just run to a rural area and live off the land and go to homestead and you'll be fine. Oh, and then the federal government comes in and imports 20,000 Haitians from the third world and plops them in your rural town. Oops, I thought that I didn't have to worry about politics. Well, it's like the old adage about Vladimir Lenin: you may not care about politics, but politics cares about you. And they will not stop. Communists will not stop. Marxists will not stop until they are stopped. They are fully committed. They have full commitment in their ideals. They have full commitment in their goals. They have full commitment and belief. Actually, they do have, believe it or not, courage of their convictions. You do have to give them credit for that. They truly do firmly believe in Marxism, and they believe, hey, anyone who stands against us is just standing against utopia, and you must be part of the problem. And if you're part of the problem, then you're an invasive species that needs to be removed.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.